Andy Ruiz defeats Anthony Joshua. Protein shakes. Heavy bench press. Deep squats. Are you mad? Bruv, I want to be, like the heavyweight champion of the world, cuz. Non-event, cuz. Non-event, you said, yeah? But I'm going to look at you. You know when, like, chicks look at their mans when they find out they've been cheating?
All I got to say is, a Mexican heavyweight champion? No way. No way. No way.
What has just happened, people? Oh, my God. Now, I ain't let you speak first, brother. I'm coming to you. I'm coming for you, yeah? I told people, yeah, I'm not going to take credit and say that I thought Ruiz was going to win, because I didn't. I don't think anyone did. All the people that said, oh, you know what, Ruiz could do something, like I was one of those guys, never went the full way and said that Ruiz is going to do it. But what I did say, check the tapes. Check the tapes, like RS told us. I told you that this fight was a much, much better fight than Miller. I said, don't look at the guy's physique. Do not do that. That's the biggest mistake you can make. I also said that he also beat Parker. So watch out. And then finally, what I did say was, as an AJ fan, I'm still an AJ fan, I wanted to see how he dealt with Ruiz if he got clocked by him. And we just found out. We just found out, people. On to you, my play. Making gains out here, cuz. Bro,
I'm making them Ruiz gains out here
making them
immediately.
gains, bro.
Listen. Hey, essays. I'm sorry, man. Hey, papi, I'm sorry, man.
Hey, Vatos! Bro, don't take anything away from these Mexicans, yeah? People took our jokes last time as an offense. We apologize for that. It wasn't enough to do with that. We was actually saying these Mexican dudes can fight. Just some gangster shit.
Listen, I got it wrong, innit? I mean, like, I'll say it's a non-event and all that, and all them sort of things there. No, it was an event. It was an event. It's a full event.
Oh yeah, just in case you guys didn't know, yeah? Liverpool won the Champions League, innit? Just in case you missed it, you missed it, and you didn't know that on Saturday.
What, is that the first time?
Nah, it's 6, you know. Just thought I'd put that in there, just in case you lot forgotten that.
But listen, I got to get straight into it. Listen, I couldn't be further from the truth of how it went down. I didn't think that was going to happen at all. I watched the fight start. He didn't look himself. Joshua did not look himself. But it was also, it got to a stage when he put him down, when Joshua put him down, I thought, you know what I mean? I look around at these guys.
Shit.
Yeah, here we go. I looked around at these guys, went like that. As if to say, like, listen, I told you. And it was between 1 to 4, and I thought exactly what I said. But I was getting ready to come on here and say, I told you.
But it's like, I said, you know, one of the things I said, like it was said in the last video, was watch out for his counter punches. I did say that, and that's exactly what happened in that situation. But like you said, Joshua, when he knocked him down, he could have taken him out there from that if he was clever enough.
Yeah, cleverer. Because if you look at it, he just went for the kill, and it was so open. It was like, right, I'm just gonna put this out. Another one of those routine victories. I'm done. But he just didn't. He didn't look as slick as he always does. But I think there's one thing that everyone's noticed and never quite talked about it because they thought he's always got the job done. But smaller fighters, we did mention that smaller fighters give him problems. And even we watched him. He was leaning down at the beginning of the fight, and I was like, this isn't what I was expecting. I was expecting him to throw out the jab, just keep at the end of it, and then pick him off. That's what I thought. But Ruiz had a game plan. He stuck to it, and then when he got in close, when he buzzed him, he thought, hold on a minute, this guy's got nothing. And then he attacked the body, and took the wind out of his sails. And that's where I thought to myself, you know what? Got his game plan and they stuck to it, and fair play. And no one could take that moment away from him. You can say what you want about Joshua. Yeah, I know there's people out there that are very fickle fans, very, very fickle fans that have said he's rubbish. We've realised he's just another heavyweight Amir Khan, all these things. Be careful what you say. Yeah, be careful what you say, because although he has come up against, this wasn't meant to even be a big test. He came up against a test and failed miserably. Yeah, people are saying he quit. And what are you saying? All I'm saying is, he got beat.
But did he quit?
He got beat.
No.
I don't think he quit. I think he's got beat. He just got that's a you know.
Hold on. Let me stop you right there. Yeah.
The fight just got stopped.
Brother, from time the ref says you okay, step forward. My man is standing on the ropes, just going.
Come on, ref. We're free.
Now he quit. I'm not having that. Like I said, I'm a massive AJ fan and still an AJ fan. Do I believe he'll come back stronger? I hope so, and I wish he does. But he quit. We give it to people like Amir Khan and all these people here who quit. If that's not quitting, I don't know what quitting is, bro. Because you know what I'm saying?
I felt the referees made a decision there. I think the referees made a decision and said he's lost. This is as good as a knockout.
But we know the rules. Do you know what I mean? When you know the rules, when you're shook and the ref's asking you, you know what you got to do.
You got to step forward. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When you put it like that, fair. The way I saw it was
that's a fair argument because a lot of people are debating that. So
the way I saw it was the opportunity was there, and the referees realised that this guy's been put down 4 times, and he hasn't looked like he's going to throw anything that's of significance. And this is a knockout for me. He's standing up, but he's out on his feet. So as far as I'm concerned, it was like the referees made the decision of this isn't going to go on, and that's a right decision. Let's make no bones about that. Let's not look at any controversy here or conspiracies in here. There was none. There was none.
He was getting clotted.
He was getting plaxed all over the place, yeah. And watching him fall about the ring, yeah, like a big. Look at those daddy long legs, those flies, innit? The ones that fly around the walls, that just bounce into the walls and that. That's what it looked like, yeah. And it's a shame because obviously he'd been marketed very well, he's been sold very well. There are flaws there. Everyone knew that he was fragile in certain areas, but no one thought that they were going to get exposed until he fought the Wilders and the Furies. I stick to my point. The best heavyweight out there is Tyson Fury because he would have exposed Joshua. I don't think he would have knocked Joshua out, but he would have exposed Joshua for 12 rounds because it's clear that boxing skills wise, he's at the level of a Fury, but he can bang. But then you go say, right, okay, well if he can bang, put him in with a banger. I'm sorry, but he'll get out banged. So the only thing that changed for me is that what it showed me is that Wilder and Joshua for me that's how it is. I think the top 3 for me would be Fury, Wilder and Joshua. That's what it looks like to me now. I got it wrong. I'm sorry.
Before we get into the 3 of the heavyweights or the 4 heavyweights, like you just touched on earlier about Ruiz, let's not take nothing away from Ruiz. People are saying, oh yeah, Joshua wasn't himself. The whole event got to him. Like when we talk about the event, there were like boxers from all over the place. You had like mans like Parker and Usyk like just jumping around, making videos and stories and that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, Caroline.
Do you know what I mean? So yes, the whole event, and he didn't look himself the first time he's in America, all this kind of stuff. But let's not take away from what Ruiz done. He absolutely outboxed him, outclassed him, outsmarted him, and like you said, he had a game plan.
Outthought, outworked, out everything in every department. There's nothing that Joshua did better than him, apart from the song for the ring entrance. Yeah.
That was a banger when he come out.
Yeah. But I was gassed on that. But what's the point?
Okay, so all these, like you said earlier about these fickle fans, we're still AJ fans. Let's not get this twisted. AJ is a top heavyweight, and all these people saying, "No, I told you that he had flaws." And we
yeah, okay. I want to jump in there. That's another thing that's annoyed me. I told you lot. But I did not hear you lot before the fight started, bro. It's been like that. I didn't hear you lot say that. Don't get me wrong, I'm the same. So I'm not saying you lot because I'm included. But I don't want people coming out here saying, I told you, man, that he ain't all that. No, my G, no. You didn't. No one said AJ went all that. Because AJ was plaquing everyone put in front of him. So let's just take it, put some perspective on it.
The funniest thing was you had people saying to me, I knew Ruiz was going to do something. I want to bet. What about the other 5 bets you did for AJ to win in the first 3 rounds, bro?
And you had £2 spare. You thought,
do you know what?
You know what? Well, okay, let's just stick it on matey. Let's stick it on matey from up.
And suddenly they knew what was coming. It's like, come on now. But the other thing I want to say about AJ is that, you know what, come back stronger. All this stuff about, and I like the way he dealt with the defeat. People might not like the way he dealt with the defeat and whatnot. I felt that this is what we need more of in today's society, right? People today are too fickle. They start saying, oh, if you lose all this, your ogos, and people start jumping on this bandwagon of hate and all this kind of stuff. The way for me he dealt with it, he said, look, this is his time. He did his thing. Let him have his, let him have his props. He took the defeat. He said, I got beat by the better man. Rare. And mentally, this is what I'm saying. People's defeat sometimes, it kills boxers mentally. You've seen a number of people who've lost their belts and all this kind of stuff. I don't want to pick out names, but we all know, right? There's certain fighters who've made it, who've lost it, and suddenly their heads are gone. So for me, it's like I wish him all the best, and I hope he does come back stronger. And mentally, I think he is strong enough to do and make that comeback.
My only question to that would be, and this might sound crazy, but this is playing devil's advocate. He ain't got anything to prove to anybody.
Well,
He could turn around now and be like, you know what? My health is intact. I'm a multi-millionaire.
I get what you're saying, but amongst boxing fans, I think you lose respect for the guy. And the question want to ask you and the fans is, he can take this rematch, but should he take this rematch?
It's funny, I was going to get onto that. Listen, the next step for him is to take a bit of time out. Need some time off. Away from boxing, completely. And I know he does that anyway, but he needs to, because mentally, you have those questions, don't you? Am I what I thought I was? I'm sure it's like anything. It's like, you know, when the vulnerability sets in. Boxers now know that and they'll prey on it. Other people. So that's where he's got to think. He's at Klitschko. As soon as he lost to Fury, everyone's like, well, hold on a minute. He's actually not invincible. And then Joshua went on to beat him.
So then, what's the next step though? So if you take this break,
it's got to be Ruiz next. It's got to be.
Why?
Unless you're fighting Wilder next.
Why does it have to be Ruiz?
Because you got your belts, player. And I tell you what, there's another thing you got to remember. There's mandatories involved. So if he doesn't take the rematch and then they open up to the mandatories and he loses to a mandatory or has to vacate because he ain't fit enough already to take the next match, then the belts disperse. Then Usyk gets a belt, and then Dillian Whyte's #1 contender for another belt. And then you got people who are getting the belt. And then all of a sudden the heavyweight division. So for the good of boxing, then I'm not sure this is necessarily a bad thing, because people like Usyk come into the picture, people like Dillian Whyte come into the picture. Belts are everywhere, and then all of a sudden it's not down to those lot, the controlling all the networks. Networks lose their P now because they're like, shit, we banked on these mateys. Now there's no belts for them to fight. Fury can go get a belt. So
the reason why I asked that question, for me, Joshua should not be taking this rematch. I'm putting it straight out there. If people want to protect this guy, he should not take this rematch. I hear a lot of people like yourself, which is the right thing to say, he needs to take this rematch. A lot of other people said as well, is that if he wants to prove that he's the world's best and all this kind of, he needs to go back and win his thing. But this fight was not close, people. It wasn't like it was one fluky punch. It was like not a fluky punch, but you know what I mean, like a big punch, like Rackman knocked out Lennox Lewis and it was lights out. This was continuous beating. Yeah, and I see it going. What I'm saying is, I see it going the same way. That's all I'm saying. So for me, I think Joshua needs to take a different path and then come back. I don't know. And even Joshua, they asked Joshua, they goes, what about this rematch? And then he said, I want to go back to the drawing board and I want to see what other options I got.
Yeah, but listen. But
you see what, you hear what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but I think that's, mate, come on. It was a bad day at the office, right? He got caught, and you could see he never fully recovered from that one shot. Yeah. Okay, so although he wasn't, and everyone can see he wasn't quite at it, right? Get it back to London, get a rematch for it, get it into your home comforts again, right? And go from there. Joshua at 100% beats Ruiz at 100%. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. It was a bad day at the office. He got exposed on a few things. I don't think he was as quite prepared as he should have been. He didn't look it. He looked knackered. He looked off of it. And I heard him say when he sat in the corner, why am I feeling like this? And then I don't know if you don't notice, again, this is a conspiracy theorist in me, but I don't think there was any conspiracy. But the one thing I've also said to look out for is very interesting, is Anthony Joshua's dad was going flip mode squad. He was going flip mode after the fight at Eddie Hearn. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. But I don't know what it is. If anybody knows, then let me know. But I saw it. A lot of people have picked up on it on Twitter and they've brought it up. Anthony Joshua's old man was going nuts at Eddie Hearn. Anthony Joshua sat in the corner and said, why am I feeling like this? Now, either he missed a cycle of some sort and he is not himself. His training wasn't as intense or at the right, didn't acclimatise or whatever. But he said, why am I feeling like this? And the old man was vexed at something and he was miles off it. Anthony Joshua is I think he's too humble and too much of a man's man to turn around and blame other X factors, because he's the one in charge. And he's right, because he made the decision to get in that ring. But something isn't quite as it should be for me. But no disrespect, Andy Ruiz Jr., respect. You deserve all credit and all the money that comes your way now, because what you've done is you beat the man that a lot of people wanted to, talked about. Wilder, look at that fight from yesterday. Now you should be ashamed of yourself, because you should be saying that should have been me. I could have been the champion. I could have knocked him out. That could have been you. That could have been you. He was vulnerable yesterday. He weren't at it. Different country. Imagine being the first one to fight him in the States. He weren't acclimatized. That could have been you. But whatever.
I'm glad you touched on that, because what I was going to say the same thing. Not just Joshua and Eddie Hearn, but Shirley, bruv. Shirley, Wilder, all these lot here who should be making that fight. you should be ashamed of yourselves, all of you, because you just missed out on a massive paycheck. It doesn't matter who won, who lost that fight. You just missed out on selling the biggest fight. All this whole hype around it would have been
And
around.
you would have had them belts.
Yeah, and not even just that though. I'm saying even if you did lose, you know that even the purse of that fight, the whole hype of losing your own, all this kind of stuff there, they've just messed that up for the whole. You know that fight is, you know, when everyone's talking about it. You know, like when random aunties and even like grandmas are saying, "Yeah, Rati aaj fight nahi honi." Yeah, literally meaning like isn't there a fight on tonight? Like everyone will be talking about it, and that's what they missed out on.
And that you said it right. It comes down to everybody else. That fight is going to. We are risking this going down the route of a Pacquiao-Mayweather situation. That fight would have been talked about in a whole different breath.
Regardless of the
if
verdict,
it was done
the
sooner.
result,
Yeah. And the thing is, everyone talk about the money and the financial aspect. Let it ripen. Let it ripen. This is what happens. You risk, as a fine line. You're still going to make money if they fight. Even if they fight now, there's no Joshua didn't have any belts and it's all Wilder's. But Wilder calls all the shots now. So all I'm saying is, Deontay Wilder might look at it like this and say, well, you know, whatever, I'll fight him now, it's on my terms. But what about the belts? The belts, by this point, they might be dispersed. Ruiz might go and get clocked by somebody else and lose a belt. So this is what I'm saying. They all should be ashamed of themselves. It's Anthony Joshua's fault because he got beat. But that could have been you, man. That could have been boxing complete. You could have completed boxing. Deontay Wilder could have completed boxing.
And you mentioned that as well. And you have to look at Dylan Whyte. Now, obviously, I'm a person that says don't look back and regret certain things, because you make decisions based upon your heart and whatever you think at that time. So at the time might be right, but now Dylan Whyte, that could have been you as well. Just as you said, you know, he turned it down and said, I know my price and all this kind of stuff. I've always been told, listen, do your thing, money will come afterwards. Money will follow you. That's what I've heard.
And listen, you would have made your money. Let's put it like that. You would have made your money. But as I said, who are we? Because we don't know the ins and outs of it, of how it's diced up. But all I'm saying is, Deontay Wilder must be sitting there thinking, damn. Do you know what I mean? He's gone down and wiped out Brazil in the round. He could have had this fight. But
and then I guess just to finish, like you touched on about the 4 heavyweights. So for you now, does that show you that Wilder would wipe out AJ now, or are you still saying whoever lands first? Because that's where we were at last time.
I'm different. I'm different
now.
I'm different now. I think that Wilder beats Joshua. From what I've seen a couple of times, because I've seen him. He got buttoned by Dylan Whyte. He got put down by Klitschko, and he got beat by Ruiz. He got caught by Povetkin as well. So there's always been that vulnerability. But I always thought to myself, you know what? Nah, he's learning. He'll get tighter. He's actually getting looser and looser and looser, and easier to hit. And the thing about Wilder is, there's no denying that he packs a level of punch that I think he'd knock out animals, bruv. You know what I mean? You know, there's like a big elephant. He would knock an elephant out with that sort of punch. I'm not saying do it, but I'm just saying he could, because there's a power he possesses. So for me, that tells me everything I needed to see to say that there's a problem, Joshua.
Joshua, you've lost to 0 now. You've lost that big O. You're not you when you're hungry, bro. Yeah. What I'm saying is, just go hella mode out here.
Yeah, just get a Ruiz diet in there. Yeah, get them gains. Yeah.
But just go out there now. You know the whole. I got enough respect for Joshua, the way he carries himself. People say he's fake and all this kind of stuff, but you got to have a professional thing.
But he turned into street mode afterwards. If people were asking questions, he's like, fuck that. Do you know what I mean? He's like, he's calling people bruv. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, bro, there's going to be jollof. It's all going to come out. But listen, it is what it is. One final little point I'm going to make to wrap this video up is Katie Taylor decision. That is a disgrace. I'm sorry. I know I'm a Katie Taylor fan, and I want her to win. But the whole reason that Fury's been robbed. Fury got robbed. Went to States, got robbed. Yeah, that woman's come to the States and got robbed. I'm sorry. Eddie Hearn's paid who he needed to pay. We were talking about it as well, weren't we? If this Joshua fight goes to the cards, it didn't obviously, but if it got to the cards, they would have made it that Joshua won the fight.
Fully agreed.
And it's disgraceful. And boxing governing bodies look at it, because even Katie Taylor's face after the fight, she was like.
They messed up hard.
Picking at the belt side.
That's what I'm saying. It takes it away from that moment. That fight needs to be made a rematch immediately, because that woman was like a triple G version of a chick, bro. She just kept coming forward.
Let us know your thoughts though, because Anthony Joshua, I got it wrong. I put my hands up. I was very wrong. I apologise to all the fans, Andy Ruiz fans. I got it wrong. You got your boy is the business, and he deserved it. And I wish you all the best. Is Joshua? Where should he go next? Is he finished? Is it worth carrying on? You tell me.
And like you said, should he do the rematch with Ruiz or should he take a different route? Because I think it should be a different route, and he thinks he should go back and
get your belts back.
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and definitely comment. We enjoyed making this video, and see you to the next one. Peace.